everyone, it's Adele and April from Just Say Scrap Close to My Heart, and we are here with Stacy Julian with some awesome products of hers that we're going to share with you. So this is her Storyteller How-to Book, which is awesome. I was just looking through it, and we want to tell you all about it. So let's get going.
Okay.
So today we are using the Storyteller by a Story by Stacy how-to book, and we wanted to do this because we've hit every single other aspect of Story by Stacy. However, we have not done the how-to book yet. And we just had another virtual weekend this past weekend. It went really well, and we were talking a lot about telling your own story. So we really thought that this would be a great thing to do for Technique Tuesday because we haven't done it yet. And telling your story is so important. Especially we were talking a lot on this weekend also about handwriting and adding your own words into your scrapbooks, or even like a card if you're writing a really nice card to somebody too. That's something that they're going to cherish and keep and maybe even put in a scrapbook later on. But like using your own handwriting and stuff, also Melissa Esplin, using your own handwriting and telling your own stories in your albums are what people are going to look for in the future. So you might know the story to something and you might have a picture that you know the story to, but we don't. So we want to hear your story. So this how-to book is going to walk you exactly through that. It fits in one of our 6x8 albums, as you see here. This is our Sapphire one. 3-ring binder along with our other books. So you could always combine this with one of the Make It From Your Heart books or something like that too. We may have some more coming out. Wink, wink, quote, quote. September 1st. Okay. So this is just like the others. I'm going to walk you through a little bit of it. This is Stacy Julian right here. She is one of the sweetest people that you will ever meet. If you meet her, you are very lucky. She's so nice, and she's so good at telling stories. Yes, and she's so good at teaching too, which is really nice. So that's kind of just an introduction. And then here's how you prepare and how you start telling a story. So you've got to, for preparing, you have to choose a person, place, or thing for the subject of your album, which I think most of you already have, and then gather your photos of your subject.
Yes, and this particular section is about the story starter, which is the smaller album, but you can, this is what she does. She starts with the story starter and grows on and adds on so that with our other elements, you can start to tell your story
in a bigger book or like other things.
Yes.
And there is something in here that I'm going to talk about that they also have that we've never really touched upon. So this is the story starter. Thank you, Mom. I forgot to say that. And it just kind of, these books, these are the small ones. We've gone over them. They kind of just like prepare you on a person, place, or thing and telling your story. And it kind of shows you how to go through the process. So how to get started, ask yourself sensory questions. After several minutes of focusing, like take out pencil and paper, write things down, review the words and phrases that you've used, and then group each topic, and now you have your memory recorded, and you're just going to keep repeating that process. That's more of the story starter. And she does this because she's also taking it from this tiny little book, telling you the steps to use here, and then in the additional pages, she shows you how you can make it into a 12x12 layout and how you can now incorporate that small little things that you were doing in this kind of a book into a bigger layout for a 12x12 book. And it just keeps going on. Now she shows you how you can put it on a 6x6 or a 6x8 or the pocket page scrapbooking, which we're also going to talk about as we go on as well. So, she really gives you a lot for the story starter. If you've ever used the story starters, now how to expand it. This is the story starter that we had showed you from many moons ago, Technique Tuesdays, about, this is our subject. Our subject was convention. And
where we went introduced.
Yes. So this is where, where we went through and we just write photo. And that's kind of how you're now expanding it into another one. This is the short story where once again you also prepare by having any person, place, or thing that you want to document. And this, you gather a large stack of photos. Unlike that one where it's just one photo, this is a large stack because multiple photos will be going on one page. And then you add small little story spots, and then you have a bigger story at the end. So this one, so let's start a story, is you start the process by thinking about you want to document in the story. You explain meaningful parts of the story through your photos. You take them out. And then after contemplating a draft summary, you start to create what you really want to write. And then after you've made the base of your projects with your cardstock and your pages, like you'll see, this is the one that we have here. We've made the bases of the pages. You can see there's not really a lot of writing on these. That's when we're going to continue to create the visual stuff, and then you're going to write small details in the photos. So this book, which we've also explained to you how we created it, we went through, we made the book, and by doing mostly the photos and then the papers, and then we went back through and embellished. Like we added foot picture there, or so much fun.
And we also added some writing onto the
our photos itself. Thank you, Instagram. But like, you know, we added that to that. And then at the very end is when we really told our story in this book. This is the short stories. So then she tells you how to add it just from going into the 6x6 book, now going into more of a 12x12. So using those same photo elements and your papers to then adding a longer blurb of your story in one page. They really add also the love of color into here too, so you're kind of getting a little bit of both, because you can see like what elements work. And then also using the 6x6 like we just did, but doing it in a completely different way than you would in that book. And then the pocket pages, which I'm going to talk about again in a little bit. This is the stories I love. This was the last one that we did that I did on my cousin's wedding. So once again, for this, you're going to gather photos that capture a variety of your favorite moments. The photos could be different people, places, things throughout your life. So these are just stories that you're going to tell. So I remember I made a little bit bigger book than I was supposed to. But this one is mostly going to be photo, story, photo, story. So you're going to look through your old photos. You're going to find a photo that kind of means something to you. And then you're going to do layers. So what are the details? Who, what, where, when? Layer 2, what's happening in this photo? Layer 3, what makes this photo special? And what does this photo make you feel? So that's when you begin to draft your story. You read over the sentences you wrote and you strengthen them, just like basically essay writing, I guess. You're just editing your stories to make them flow in your book. And then you have your draft, and then you write down your draft.
And in this book, it doesn't necessarily have to be a
They don't have to go in order,
continuation.
yeah.
It doesn't. They all don't have to go together. Like you can do a book on the people that you love, and you can tell stories of each individual person, or the places that you've seen, and you could do that and do the same thing with
like you could even take a photo from every year of your life and why that one photo was important to you.
Yes.
Or just random people in your life. Like if you want to take a photo from every single one of your family members and just tell a story about them. That's what these are really good for. And that brought into a 12x12, you know, like this photo probably has a lot of meaning to Monica. That is Monica, our president. Because it's her daughter's wedding. So like taking that, now she's taking this story and telling why that she picked this picture to put into a 12x12. And here you can see like even just using a shimmer brush or something and highlighting a few words makes it that long blurb on your page, your 12x12 page, really pop. And it makes it look like it's a part of it, but now you're telling the story about why this photo is so important to you.
Right. And also, there are Story by Stacy stamps that they do have that you can highlight words and things like that. So,
which we've also gone over in the past. And like a 6x6, like a 6x6 is not that much room. I mean, it is, but like you can tell a whole story here with just one photo and kind of expanding it out like that, which is really fun. This is really fun because it's a pocket page where you cut a picture in half, said what it is, and now you're telling the story on it. A lot of these are, like this is typed out, these are handwritten. You know, you can go back and forth with it, but like I said, my big thing with Melissa Esplin is write it. That's my big thing. And I've heard you've probably heard this a lot. This is what I really want to talk about. This is the extended story, and this is what we've never ever touched on, and I think this is really, really important. So if you're using the 3 different writing concepts, which I just said, you can do them in 3 different ways. The extended story basically is it's a pack of page protectors from Stacy Julian and with the Story by Stacy line. And basically, let's see, they kind of tell you here. Okay, so do you see how like there's a 6x6? Then we have an 8.5 by 11. Then it adds one of our like vertical or horizontal, the smaller 12 by 4, 12 by 6 page protectors in it. And basically it's just a stack of different size page protectors to get you to tell your story in a different and an interactive way. We'll show you a pack of these in a little bit, but I just kind of wanted to talk through that. So when we are starting to do our extended story, she wants you to kind of pick which writing concept you want to do, and that is what you're going to do in your scrapbook. So decide if you want to do the story starter, the short story, or the stories I love. And as you can see here, there really is a lot of story and a lot of journaling to be told, but you're now extending it through a scrapbook, through your 12 by 12 in like a smaller area, and it's more interactive, and I will show you what these look like because they are really cool in a little bit. So this is how you prepare your extended story. So choose a person, place, or thing, again, or an experience as a subject for your extended story. Then gather your photos of your subject. You may want to enlarge a few photos if that stand out or whatever. So pick one photo to use on your title page that represents your subject and story best. That's this one right here. Then group similar photos together and go through that. Then you're gonna, number 2, you're gonna use a writing tool to draft detailed stories once again. So use either like the journaling pens that we have or anything like that to kind of get your detailed stories together. And then number 3 is you're gonna begin putting your projects together. So starting with the title page and the closing page. So for the title page, use a photo you set aside with any size memory protector as a foundation. Your closing page will be a 12 by 12 single page, just to kind of wrap it all together. And this is also a really cool way, because if you split up your stories by a 12 by 12 page protector, and then you have all the different sizes before it, you can tell where each story begins and each story ends. And I think that's a really, really cool thing. And then you're gonna add in your story to your album, and you can tell a bunch of different stories in one album. So this is kind of what I mean. Like, do you see how this is like a Christmas story? So you've got all of these smaller ones, and then the ending page is your 12 by 12 photo here. And then she's showing you how to connect your stories together, or let's say you're doing these throughout a year. You can really start to read this, and she really explains very well in good detail and shows you great examples of all of this on how to connect your stories through your extended stories. And then you're finishing your story and all of that. So this is a really, really awesome book by Stacy Julian that has really helped in telling stories, because these are things that you don't want to forget about. All right, so this is the page protector pack that I was talking about that they use to tell your stories. So you're gonna get a 6 by 6. You're gonna get one of this is a pocket design pages, another pocket design page. So vertical, or these are both horizontal. One is 3 by 4, one is 4 by 6. You're gonna get an 8.5 by 11, and then you're gonna get a 12 by 12. And so this is your extended story, basically, because all of them, they make them so the pockets line up into a 12 by 12, perfectly like that. This too, you can put it up or down. And this is how you're gonna tell your story. So let's say you do 6 of these and you put these all into a scrapbook together. Every time somebody comes to this page, they're gonna know it's the starting page. And this is where your subject photo is gonna be and the beginning of your book. So let me just pull this in here just to show you. So do you see this? I mean, I could even switch this around and I can make it my 8.5 by 11, which is my front. And that's what this is with a bigger photo. So that's gonna be your title page, and then all of your closing pages would be your 12 by 12. So all of this inside, you could even get extras of all of these too. You could buy like a pack that you wanna, add more to. Sorry, I have a fuzzy on it. You could do all of that, and then every time you come to a 12 by 12, that's your closing page. So it's a really cool interactive way to make your albums and have all of your story in here. And then once they know you get here, next story. And you can connect them. Like even if you want to do it maybe 1 month a year or 1 month of the year. So start with January. So you put your cover title here and it writes January. And then you tell like little stories about January. Then you go to the next one. You come to this page again, it's February. And that's kind of a way that you can document your year. and do things like that in an extended story. And she will give you so many good ideas in this book, help you make connections, tell you how you can do different ways to make your story, and really just have fun with it and make it different than a normal 12 by 12 scrapbook where you just kind of flip through it. This is a completely interactive way to do it, and honestly, I love it. So that is our Story by Stacy Storyteller. And that's Technique Tuesday. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please let us know. I'm going to let Mom talk about why we decided that this was so important today.
Okay, so we decided to do this today because over the weekend I was doing a demo and I was trying to think of what to do, and then the line from Alexander Hamilton, which is one of my favorite Broadway shows, kept coming into my mind. Who lives, who dies, who tells your story? So I was thinking about it, and Alexander Hamilton was remembered basically because Aaron Burr killed him, right?
And he's also on our, what bill?
Well, whatever bill he's on. But I was thinking that his story was only told because a man who was on vacation, decided to read a book about his life. And so his story is now being told again. And we have a chance, even though we're not going down in history, we have a chance.
Who knows? Maybe somebody watching is.
Somebody will, but we're not going down in history.
Hey, speak for yourself.
But we do have a story to tell. We have stories to tell about the people we love, the places we've seen, and the things we've done. So we have an obligation to share that with everybody for future generations, for your grandchildren, for your great-grandchildren. They want to see who you are. They want to hear in your own words who you are.
Mm-hmm. So that's why we decided to jump in here today and do our Story by Stacy, the Storyteller, and kind of tell you about the extended story, because it's really important. And like some people have been talking, oh, I hate my handwriting, oh, I hate this. That was the same thing with the Melissa Esplin we did last month. You really do want to just tell your story, and by doing it in a different way, that might help you. You never know, like maybe there are some tips in this book that you thought, oh, that's easy, like I never thought to do it like that. And like one of the things I always think about is I love her handwriting, so I always make her write, but like I've decided, I have to start writing too. But one of the things that I think is really cool, like when we found all of my grandfather's photos when we were cleaning out, he wrote every single person on the back of his photos. So we have no idea who they are.
But I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have a picture that is a picture of my grandmother and my father when he was a baby. And my grandmother's handwriting is on the back of that photo, and something in Italian, which unfortunately I don't speak. But and when I saw that, when I found that, I was thrilled. So
yeah, so it's really cool. These are memories and stuff that you can keep and you can pass along for maybe your great grandchild that you won't meet, but they'll be like, oh, that's my great grandmother's handwriting. So things like that are really important with storytelling. So that's why we did that today, and we will show you how we throw it together on Thursday a little bit. So also, our Make It Mondays are live. We are starting to send out our kits, so if you would like to join that, the Google Doc is below, so you can add what classes you would like to take with that. And we are in the process of making another virtual weekend in September, so we will get some of that information out to you, and we can't wait. So, all right, we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.
You messed up my arm, lady. You're in my light. They also, I really like how they kind of add the, what is that? The color one. The love of color.